Hello, patrons. This is Cyber Saloon. So today we're going to be going over a redo of The Healer, episode 4. So, you bought yourself a wolf girl, huh? What an absolute champ. So, this episode does a really good job at conveying that Keyaru is definitely not a hero. Keiru's not even an anti-hero. Keiru's basically a villain who's going up against other villains. And I'm all about it. I've always loved in fictional universes when you get like bad guys or evil factions going up against like other evil factions or other bad guys. And that's kind of what this series is. Like, Keyaru is definitely not a good person by any means, but at the same time, like, had anyone gone through the shit that he did, like, anyone would be turned into insane. You got raped all the time, you got tortured all the time, and it's pretty obvious, like, that's the point it's trying to show. Like, Keyaru is crazy, he's kind of a monster, but at the same time, like, he's trying to, like, bring down other monsters. So, I'm all about it. That's why I still like the series. Also, on a kind of a funny side note, I do find it hilarious that, like, while this is, like, a dark fantasy anime, like, it's also obviously a harem anime, but unlike, you know, your Denses-led typical main character of, like, a harem anime, like, Keyaru actually, like, smashes, like, all the girls. I don't know if it's kind of a quip out of the harem anime, but I do find it funny that he ends up sleeping with all the girls. But we pick up this episode. Keiru's leaving like the place where, like, the slave house where he bought Setsuna at, and he notices like something that the merchant says. The merchant tells him that if you're interested in like Ice Clan members as slaves, like, we are expecting like a pretty big shipment to come in like within like pretty soon, which tells Keyaru that like that merchant knows something, and like that like her people like are obviously about to be brought there in like a pretty decent mass, so he does pay attention to that. So Keyaru and Freya, aka Flare, they bring her back. They bring Setsuna back to like the little hotel that they're staying at, and Keyaru he does his heal thing. So primarily, obviously, to help her, one, but two, basically to see like what exactly, like, who does she want her revenge against. And it kind of shows a little bit of Setsunu's backstory, to where she got captured when she was kind of young, and like she tried to fight off like these guards, like not guards, but she tried to fight off these imperial, basically slave catchers. That's basically what they are. They were basically looking for like some demi-humans to obviously sell on the market, and they worked for the imperial capital, and like Setsunu tried to stop them, and she ended up getting her ass beat. And the other two people she was with got tortured basically to death, and they told them, like, the Imperial, like, snatchers where they were. So this one's kind of interesting. I'm not sure, because, like, Setsunu looked a lot younger in that kind of flashback, but it kind of sounded like and looked like this happened pretty recently. I don't know if it's just they aged quickly or whatever it was, but Keyaru kind of understands like what exactly she wants revenge about, and she wants revenge on the Imperials that caught her and are going to go after like the rest of the Ice Wolf clan to begin with. And Keyaru obviously sees her as like a massive asset. She would make a great assassin, basically, is what it looks like to me. She kind of looks like she has all the makings of someone who'd be like a really good assassin, but I guess Keiru's so strong like he could just do it by himself anyway, but whatever. So this is where kind of like Keiru's kind of villain side kind of comes in. We see it definitely a couple of other times throughout the episode, but he talks about how he's excited for Flare to kind of like kill her own people. So, and he like does like a kind of a dark chuckle about it. So him obviously getting like a kick out of making Flare kill her own like former people, you know. Definitely a little bit of a dark side there, but again, Keiru's kind of crazy, so it makes sense. So, because this is anime, the only way that you can heal people or transfer something is you have to obviously kiss them. And you see Keyaru do this, so he drinks like the healing potion that he ended up making, and and then transfers it to Setsunu by kissing her like multiple times. And it's funny because you see like Flare kind of like trip out a little bit about it. So he ends up going back to make sure his investment's going well, because remember, like, he met with that merchant last episode, and he's gonna put down like a decent like payment down, and like he's gonna get like a certain percentage of sales from that merchant. I did notice that the merchant that he's dealing with has Goldman in the name. Merchant Goldman. This sounds familiar. So after he deals with his investment, he goes back to basically heal the rest of Setsuna, drinks another potion again and kisses her. She wakes up this time, obviously freaks out, and then we see Flare come in and be like, but he was taking care of you. And like I get that her memory's like erased, but it still makes me laugh, like the hard amount of Stockholm syndrome that's like going through her right now. But anyway, she kind of explains this to me, like, to be fair, like Keyaru did heal her completely. Like she was kind of on the verge of dying when he first found her, so he did heal her. And as soon as he told Flare that like to go get dinner, I was like, oh god. I was like, I already know where this is going. So Flare goes out to get dinner, and then Setsuna tries to escape, and we learn like he took her collar, like her slave collar, off earlier. And the reason he did that is because like Keyaru is so stupidly overpowered right now that it's just like she can't really leave anyway. She's still under contract, so she can't exactly leave. So because Keyaru's just gonna go get her back, which was a little bit messed up. But I guess he does need like a good assassin type for the journey that he's on. So she goes on like that she wants to be more powerful, and Keyaru kind of explains to her that if she wants like. He brings out like a cup and says like this like cup is really small and it's like overflowing. You have to get like a lot stronger, and I can help like make you like a larger vessel so that like you can withhold like more power. So after that, Harvey Weinstein tells Setsuna if she wants to star in movies that she's gonna have to put out. Oh, wrong script. Keyaru tells Setsuna if she wants to get a lot stronger, then she has to blow him and put out. So I started laughing at this one. I'm sorry, but I was like, so in order for her to get stronger, she's got to suck your cock. Like, I'm just like, oh god. Okay, so she obviously blows him, obviously, and she's afterwards she's like, oh my god, I feel so much stronger. But we're not done. So he tells her if she wants to get even more powerful, then she's got to let him clap the cheeks. I'm just like, oh my god. And she does, and I was like, really? Like, I was like, oh my god, this is a little bit ridiculous, but it's just like, you know what? It's like falling down a hole. It's like, yeah, I'm always expecting to see the end, but I never do. It's just like the series just keeps breaking down more and more ways to surprise me. So it actually works, to be fair. Like, she ends up like getting like stupid powerful, like after Keyaru and her have sex. But just like the prerequisite to it, he's like the ultimatum that he gives her. It's so like, it's like, oh god, it's like watching like a hentai plot. Sometimes it's like do you want to become stronger? You have to grasp the future if you want to become stronger. I'm just like, who calls their dick the future? And he's just like, if you either gonna like grasp the future or you're gonna like you're never gonna be able to like achieve your revenge. So you obviously have to sleep with me to achieve that like revenge. I'm just like, okay, Keyaru, like, all right, buddy, like, okay. So then we get to he goes to Setsuna's village, which is they're like. The merchant basically told him, Keyaru also, when he read the commander's mind in episode 2, he kind of figured out that they were going to end up like taking like her village out, and like they're basically just slave traders, to be honest with you. Like the part of like the imperial like army that they were dealing with, they go to the village and they're like they have like 7 or 8 women out, and they're like whipping the shit out of them and like beating them up and all that stuff. Setsuna sees this and obviously is pissed, as anyone would be. And Keyaru tells her, like, no, not yet. Like, wait till I go in, and then, like, I'm gonna have to try to deal with some of it, so you're not going up against this completely large force. I don't even know if Keyaru needed to do anything after what we saw Setsuna do, but we'll get to that later. So they're like whipping like the women. They're trying to get like the men to come out, and obviously like all the Ice Clan members of like mostly men come out of the gates, and they're gonna like do this heroic charge and kill all the Imperial people. Does not work. They all get mowed down by arrows, and then Keyaru decides he wants to be Tuxedo Mask. He goes down and just guts like 20 or 30 of them. Remember, like in the first episode when he heals that master swordsman, that the woman with the white hair, her last name is Krayla, I believe. he gained her techniques, and so he's like this OP master swordsman, and he like cuts people down, and like he kind of clears out like most of them. And then like they're about to fire on him, and it's funny again. One of Keyaru's villain moments kind of comes in. She brings down this like meteor and just like fries and cooks like a bunch of the Imperial soldiers, and Keyaru's just kind of over here snickering about it. I'm just like, what a madman! This like I love watching this guy. Like he's just so savage. It's like there's a certain point where someone's like so bad where it's just like you kind of have to respect it. Keyaru's kind of becoming that. So. After that, we get to see the Setsuna Bloodlust start, and she becomes an absolute mad psychopath. Like, she just starts for those who watch ReZero, when Rim becomes like a demon and goes like batshit crazy, like she had that laugh, and so she just starts laughing, and oh my god, she's actually stupid powerful. I guess Keyaru clapping her cheeks actually like enhanced her by a lot, because she's just killing people left and right. Like, it's crazy. Like, I think she'd be a great assassin. Like, if Keyaru, like, can't, if Keyaru just doesn't feel like doing it, like, I think she could easily be, like, a really good, because she's stupid powerful. Like, she's super fast, and not to mention her claws just go through bone like it's paper. And she kills, like, I would easily say, like, over 100 people. So, after, like, they obviously win the battle, and, well, obviously it goes pretty well. Like, I don't even think they barely took any casualties, even on, like, the Ice Clan side. Then it kind of cuts to Flare having a wet dream about Keyaru. And then it cuts to Keyaru and Setsuna. They're at the water source of that town that they were in last episode, where their whole entire water source is basically poisoned, and like they find out why. Like there's like a dead beast carcass that the ice wolves have basically like planted there to poison the water supply. And Keyaru's kind of asking Setsuna, like, do you want me to, like, this is what I mean, like Keyaru's kind of a villain. The fact he even offered her a choice to, like, poison the rest of the spring, it's just, like, that's not, like, yeah, it's, like, that's a villain. It's just, like, what, I mean, most of the people in that town, like, don't really have anything to do with y'all. You'd be killing a lot of, like, innocent people doing that. But the fact he even gave her the choice, I thought it's kind of reminded me of like an RPG game. Anyone who's played like Knights of the Old Republic, it's like that was the dark side choice. It's like, okay, poison the well, kill them all. But she doesn't. She ends up, obviously saying no. She still hates humans a lot. Like, I don't think that's ever. She really hates humans. But she said, like, anyone who didn't really have anything to do with this, like, I don't. It's gonna weigh heavily on my shoulders. So I really don't want to do it. So after that moment, ends up cutting to Keyaru and Setsuna, and they're just plowing away in the moonlight. And she ends up telling Keyaru, like, but her full name. So, like, it mentioned this earlier during the episode, but if she gives her full name to him, like, they're bound forever. So, like, Setsuna and Keyaru, like, he can tell her to do anything, and it's kind of like a life bond, like, that can't be broken, basically. So she basically gives herself to Keyaru again. They're plowing away in the moonlight, and the way that the episode ends is very interesting. So we see the king and the commander is in Keyaru's former body, and the king basically tells him that if you want to, I'm going to let you restore your reputation if you find the healer, like the Keyaru, obviously. And the commander obviously looks pissed. He's like, he's about to start his revenge arc. Everyone has a revenge arc in this series. Like, it's just like, it never ends. So I can't imagine that, you can, I guess, justify that he has a right to be kind of pissed. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like, so he's on his revenge arc. God, I don't even want to know what he's going to do. Because I that seems like a bad step on like of logic on Keyaru's form. I don't know why he wouldn't have made like Keyaru's form like temporary. I don't know if he can do that, but leaving the commander in like his body just seems like it's gonna be a bad idea. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I can't imagine anything good. And then we see Nora. She doesn't say anything, but she has appeared. And again, like, the way that Keyaru kind of talks about it, she kind of seems like a more intelligent, kind of like evil, like a more evil version of Flare, which is saying a lot, because the Flare was pretty bad. And so that's the way the episode kind of ends. So obviously I enjoyed it. It was fun to see Setsuna just slaughter people like crazy. Watching, like, Keyaru kind of made a comment like during this that it's an interesting comment. It's just, he said that, like, ever since he wiped her memory, like, her new identity is like becoming like a good person, and the capital is the one that ended up kind of turning her into this bitch, basically. So he kind of like deems his like main goal, which shouldn't surprise anyone, is he's gonna destroy like the Empire. So by the end game, I don't expect it to look any different than this. Keiru's gonna show up to the gates with his armies, and the Empire's gonna look at him like he's like a product of the end times. So I expect that to be the end game. So I do think, yeah, Keiru's gonna bring down the Empire. I do think he's gonna need a lot more support to do it. Not just with, God, honestly, like, with Keyaru, how stupid strong as he is, like, he could easily take out most. I don't know about the king, because the way he talked about the king, it sounded like the king was like pretty stupid strong, but he's gonna need some type of army. I think that's gonna end up being like the demon army, because I think he's gonna meet that demon chick again. But again, the episode overall I thought was really good, and I do, like, again, like, it does a good job. Keiru's not a good person. Like, he's not a hero, not even an anti-hero. You could say, like, Nafumi from Shield Hero is like a good anti-hero, but Keyaru is definitely not a hero. He's very much a villain, and he's going up against other, like, worse villains and trying to, like, bring them down. So I guess he is kind of a net positive. So I guess, you know, we can't complain too much on that front. I'm excited to see where the rest of the series goes. Especially with the commander out in his former, like, within his former body, basically, because Keiru's new body is kind of like this, like a more Chad version, and like his old body, it's like a younger version of him. So I am kind of curious to see what the commander ends up doing, because you can cause a lot of damage that way. So I am interested to see where that kind of goes, but I guess we'll see. I can't wait to see what Setsuna is going to bring. Again, I think that Keyaru should just definitely use her as an assassin type, so she'd be a good one. But that's all I got for this episode, guys. Tell me what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Did you think that Setsuna's Bloodlust was crazy? And what do you think is going to happen with the former commander wearing Keiru's skin? And also, I'm definitely kind of excited to see Nora as well. Because, again, I don't know why. I don't really have much evidence to back it up. But she kind of looks just like a more sinister version of Flare. That's all I got for this video, guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.